Ashley, let's get started.
Yeah, let's not waste any more time. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. This session will be recorded and emailed to all registrants. We encourage engagement, so please enter all questions into the chat and the presenters will be more than happy to answer at the end. And now I would like to introduce Clint Will, Senior Partner Development Manager of Microsoft.
Right, thanks Ashley, appreciate that. And first off, thanks everyone for attending today's event. As Ashley said, I'm a Partner Development Manager with Microsoft, and I'm responsible for managing the national partnership between Microsoft and Armanino. I'm in my 21st year at Microsoft, and I've had the pleasure of working with Chris and team for the majority of my career at Armanino. I know Chris is going to talk a little bit about some of their background and some of the recognition that they've won as Partner of the Year and consistently as one of our top partners. But for me, the thing that really stands out is their industry expertise and what they bring on top of our platform to really be able to drive success with our customers and drive the outcomes that you're looking for based on your priorities. So excited to be part of today's event. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chris Moore, who's their Microsoft practice lead and partner at Armanino. Chris.
All right, thanks, Clint. Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. And today I'm sporting my very famous Armanino tie-dye shirt, which last time we had our webinar was like a big crowd pleaser. So, but hey, really excited today to talk to you about supply chain disruptions and really about how we view it as well as Microsoft. We're going to have a few of good friends and distinguished guests on the line today. Mike Ehrenberg, who's the CTO of Dynamics Business Applications, is going to talk a little bit to the Microsoft roadmap and a lot of the capabilities that are being deployed around supply chain and efficiencies related to that. And then after that, we're going to have a Q&A session with Cam Moore, who is the Global Director of IT of Condeva Drug Delivery. And we're going to talk about his experience with the business application platform. So we got a great lineup today. After that, we'll open up to a panel discussions and take any questions that you guys have. Yeah, at Armanino, as Clint mentioned, we were Partner of the Year last year, but really strive to be entrepreneurial and very innovative. So really forward thinking, always investing in new technologies. We're about a 2,500 person organization approaching around 600 million in revenue, and we're hyper focused on the consulting side around our Microsoft practice. So we have a team of folks around the Power Platform, helping companies automate through their, through the Power Automate platform, as well as the business intelligence for reporting. And then finance and supply chain is really, where a lot of our customers will start their journey. In addition to that, Dynamics Business Central is one of the fastest growing ERPs within Microsoft, and that's an area that we've made big investments as well. So a lot of capabilities across the platform, and really looking forward to sharing more information with you as we go through it. One of the things that I was thinking about as I was putting this together is really thinking about sort of supply chain disruptions. And the one that came to mind first was a couple of months ago, flying into Orange County, and you could see the container ships lined up out to sea, and I could count 40 plus container ships ready to, get their merchandise unloaded. I mean, that's, that along with, kind of COVID and, and really a lot of the, inability to meet demand, it was a big thing. I've also seen it when I went to go buy my Toyota Black 4Runner. I had to put my name in and wait 2 months in order just to get a new car, which 2 years ago, that would be unheard of. So it's, and JP Morgan indicated that the chip shortage isn't expected to end until 2022 at the earliest, and primarily due to the number of semiconductor chips that are required for a lot of appliances and cars and things of that nature. One of our customers, Max Linear, is about $1 billion semiconductor manufacturing company. And we've worked with them to help optimize their supply chain. So we've integrated them both with their front-end fabrication for their wafer fabs, as well as integration with their back-end subcontractors for all their different processes that they go through. So 95% of the transaction set is flowing into Dynamics 365 finance and supply chain so that they can make real-time planning decisions. We leverage a lot of capabilities within the Power Platform to enable this. And it's really helped their organization overcome, really visibility to incoming inventory and such, and the disruptions around the supply chain. With that, I want to transition back to Mike. So Mike, once again, is a technical fellow with Microsoft. He's responsible for the Microsoft Dynamics ERP platform. Mike and his family and his dog Sunny live up in Seattle, and he enjoys spending time cycling, skiing, watching and playing soccer, and cheering on the Red Sox. And I once again want to thank Mike for joining us today and appreciate it. Here you go, Mike.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to share from my machine, if that's okay. For everybody's sake, we're very lucky Sunny just got picked up, so she won't be interrupting the presentation. So what I want to do is spend a few minutes and talk a little bit about what is really driving our roadmap and our investment, kind of what we think makes Microsoft different in the business application space in general, and then really focus on what we're doing around supply chain and kind of really trying to help our customers deal with, quite honestly, a different level of requirements in the supply chain space than they've ever seen before. So this is our CEO Satya at Microsoft Build, which is an event for kind of the entire ecosystem of people that build for the Microsoft platform, people that build for Windows, people that build for SQL. And I've been part of the Dynamics leadership for just over 18 years. And historically, we never even talked about Dynamics at the Build conference. We have different audiences with our partners like Armanino and our other partners where we talk about Dynamics, but really at Build, it kind of wasn't a mainstream topic. But here you see our CEO talking about the fact that the combination of Microsoft 365, so Office and Teams, Dynamics 365 and Power Platform on top of Azure is the core of what we're doing as a company for our enterprise customers. And that really represents a material change where Dynamics is not just a product line or a business that's successful, but it's really core and central to Microsoft's strategic mission. Obviously, the decision we made several years ago to make all of our Dynamics applications, native cloud SaaS, really driving adoption and usage of the Azure platform through that is a key enabler for that. But I think it's really something different. It really comes to the fact that what applications need to do has changed. In order to meet those demands, it's not enough to just be an application company. We need to be able to innovate across the stack, everywhere from how compute is done to how data is stored to how we do analysis of that data and how we collaborate around that data. And what that really does is, as this statement says, it's the combination of everything that is Microsoft, from Office, Teams, Dynamics, Power Platform, and Azure together that makes a difference. And that's really led to this view that we have as Microsoft of a single Microsoft cloud. And that cloud starts obviously with the global planet scale capabilities of Azure at the bottom, the developer tools that are the best for professional developers with Visual Studio and GitHub, and the new work that we've done in Power Platform to enable low-code development. On top of that, the layer where work gets done, whether it's productivity, collaboration, or business process. And then with our industry clouds, the curation of services from us and from our partners so that you can come to one place and have everything you need in order to address your needs running on the same cloud, built for the same models of authentication and security and data privacy in a single unified way. And as we look at the new things we're being asked to do by our customers, they're not something we can just take care of in our box in this picture. But we need to do innovation that spans the layers in this page. And I'll give some examples, but I think you'll see how Microsoft is uniquely set up to kind of address the new needs of our customers. When we look at this transformation, what are the new things people need from their business applications? It starts with data, and the core thing is it's not just the data anymore that users key in through screens. As we talked about supply chain disruption, there have been climate events, there are COVID events, there are political events, and so there's information that you need to get from other sources that doesn't necessarily look like structured data from a business application. We also need information tracking from sensors, from RFID tags as inventory is moving around. And so you have lots of different kinds of data, different sizes, different arrival speeds. We need a new and sort of modern platform to address the data needs in the cloud. And there's so much data, you can't just throw it up on the screen and ask a user to sort of figure it out. We need AI and we need BI to find the patterns, find the outliers, find the anomalies, and really suggest the insights that let the business make better decisions. And I think finally, one of the things that we probably should have been doing all along, but really, really became clear over the last couple of years, is business process doesn't happen with people working on their own. People work in groups, and we need to be able to collaborate around the business process and the business data in a fundamentally different way. And my view is that each of these key ingredients to what defines success in the future really point to advantages that we have as Microsoft because we innovate in all of these areas. And so as an example of that, and just sort of talk about what we're doing today as a modern cloud data platform. So on the left, you have Dynamics. And what we're doing is we're actually replicating data from Dynamics into Azure Data Lake in near real time. And we've focused on the lake rather than a traditional SQL data warehouse as the place where data should live and where BI and analytics should feed, because it's so good, not just at handling the structured data from Dynamics, but it can handle all those other kinds of data, whether it's streaming data from sensors or large data sets about weather information. The lake is a far better platform to handle that. On top of that, we have Azure Synapse, which lets us keep using SQL tools and SQL skills against that data, even though it's in the lake. And then on top of that, we also have Power BI and Azure Machine Learning that generate the charts and generate the insights that wind up back in Dynamics. So that left side is really this kind of out-of-the-box, self-contained data platform for the cloud, best in class. And the key thing here is it's not up to you to figure out how to get data out of the business app and into where you want to do your analytics. We're doing that out of the box, and it's being done in near real time. That the data lake will be within 10 to 15 minutes of what's going on in the business app. The right side is equally important because that's the thing that sort of recognizes people are not going to have all of their data in Dynamics. They need to get data from other systems they may have. They might be getting large data sets again about where COVID is impacting things, where weather events are impacting things. They might be getting sensor data. All of those things we have the ability to write into the lake as well. And that connectors and gateways, there's now over 400 for leading applications like ServiceNow, like SAP, legacy platforms like DB2 on the 400, and that custom SDK that allows you to put a connector in front of any data source that's got a web endpoint. So you can bring all the data in your enterprise and data that you get externally into one lake and use one set of best-in-class BI and AI tools on top of that. And the only way that we achieved what we did with Dynamics to get that near real time, it required innovation from us, but also innovation from SQL to do a feature called change data capture that hands off the changes as they occur, and changes in the data lake team to implement incremental updates so that you only have to send the newest stuff, not just a whole replica of the file. And so this is a case where we're sort of delivering, I think, best-in-class technology for the modern problem only because we're really able to innovate across all the layers of that stack diagram that we share. And so what do we do with a platform like that? Well, this is our supply chain insights product, and it allows you to build visualizations, essentially creating a digital twin of your supply chain, looking at the data of what you've got going in and out of your various locations, and looking at the other things that might be going on that could impact transport to and from those locations, or even operation at those locations, and starting to highlight where you have risk in a proactive way so that you can then potentially make changes and reschedule orders to ship from another plant, for example. And so we've got a whole class of applications that are built to sit on top of that collected data and allow you to really get new insights that kind of were invisible before. I talked about that other piece, the sort of importance of collaboration, and we're addressing that really in the two key ways at the left. Not everyone in a company lives in the business applications, but sometimes you have a situation, maybe there's a supply chain disruption. You need to talk with a supplier. Maybe you need to talk with some of your executives that don't sit in the application. You'd like to be able to share the context of the business data and the process in that conversation. And so we're adding to Teams and Outlook the same way you can do an @sign mention of a person and bring them into the conversation. You'll be able to do an @sign mention of a supplier or of a purchase order or of a sales order and bring that data into the Teams chat or into the Teams meeting and actually collaborate on it in real time. In the center, we're doing sort of the opposite. It's for the people that live in Dynamics. When they need to reach out and contact someone, they should be able to use the same facilities to kind of find people, understand their presence and availability, and immediately start a chat or a call or a video call. Again, sharing the context of the business process and the business data. But when that call is completed, now have the record of that call be part of the timeline of this business object. And so it's really this recognition that we do work in groups. I guess depending on your age, you'll react one way or the other to the term multiplayer. But we don't work alone, and we need to use the power of Teams and Outlook and the integration with Dynamics to actually bring business process and business data to everyone where they work so that we can drive better collaboration. So let's focus quickly on supply chain and really what we're doing there. And I would argue that businesses need more from us in this area than they have in the past. And this is a little bit of an exaggeration, but for the most part, what most people implemented with supply chain software, it was about making things and getting it to the loading dock. And what happened after that was really invisible. And that's just not good enough anymore. Customers, certainly on the consumer side, but the same expectations are coming to B2B. They want to know where that product all the way, they want to know where it is every step of the way until it's on their dock or at their or delivered to them. And similarly, our customers want to know where all their inbound stuff is at every moment. And so we really just need to widen the net of what we're looking at. The last decades have all been about supply chains getting lean. And without the sort of extra resiliency, they broke with all these disruptions. And one of the things I think that people have become clear about is supply chain is not just a thing on its own, but it directly impacts customer experience. You can have a great purchasing experience, but if the product you expect doesn't show up when you expect it, it's a bad customer experience. And so that ability to know when I can promise product, and that ability to get that product where it needs to go on time and in full are a key part of customer experience. As people think about kind of coming back from the last couple of years, they're not just going to go back and add back the excess that they took away when they went and got lean, but things are going to be more elastic, more dynamic, using third-party logistics providers, different transportation options, and really being more agile about where you do things and how you move things. And so the supply chain of one enterprise gets much more complicated, and we need tools and capabilities to deal with that. So really that's about always having visibility, identifying risk, and facilitating corrective action. We're focusing on the supply chain connection to the customer. So for our customer, as they ship product to their customer, and we're doing some great work there that I'm going to share right now. And then as we progress, we'll flip to the other side and look at the inbound and really apply the same models. So, Dynamics has this sort of broad footprint across all the business process areas. If we focus on supply chain, you can see the set of new things that we've introduced around the core of supply chain management. So there's an inventory visibility service, there's intelligent order management, and then supply chain insights, which I already showed you. I'm going to talk about inventory visibility and IOM. Those components, as we've introduced them, really are the beginnings of what we're building as a supply chain control tower, which is really that ability to say, not only am I in control of how I plan and make stuff in my enterprise, but I know where all my inbounds are, and I know where all my outbounds are, and I know where the risks are, and I can see problems early and intervene and correct. And we've similarly added kind of new modern intelligent pieces around all of our workloads, but today we're really going to focus on supply chain. So I'm going to start by talking about intelligent order management, which is a new solution that it offers real-time inventory visibility, intelligent fulfillment optimization, so guiding you on where a particular order should ship from. You can have different order orchestration based on whether it's shipping directly from you, whether it's going from a third-party logistics provider. And we're providing events and actions that allow you to give a much better customer experience around that. I think one of the key things that we're doing is we're really paying attention to the returns process and reverse logistics, which I think is a critical issue for many of our customers today. And all of this is built with sort of with the model of letting our customers make the changes they need to using sort of low-code methods. We've done some work with FedEx to amplify and extend the capabilities of this offering. So I'm going to fly through a couple of quick examples. Mattress Firm is a customer. I sort of updated their website with kind of some more advanced information than what they do today. But this is something we're talking to them about. But customers want to see, when am I going to get a product? And we're focused on a consumer thing here, but quite honestly, in a B2B environment, that same expectation exists. So if I'm going to order it, when am I going to get it? Maybe in some cases I want to see it, I want to demo it. So so in this case, I've got other options there. But what you see is every time somebody's looking at a product, there's all this inquiry being done to check the availability of that SKU in a particular location. And if we just sort of look at the demand for this information, it's exploded. So that volume of inventory queries has gone way up. So we introduced this inventory visibility service that offers real-time inventory, and it's it's across your distribution centers, retail stores. It doesn't have to just be inventory that's in Dynamics. We can get a feed from a vendor if you're doing vendor drop ships, and have a central place to provide that inventory information in real time. It's a scale-out microservice, essentially built for scale in the cloud. It handles not just the visibility inquiry, but reservation against that inventory, and we're adding a bunch of advanced features like channel allocation and available promise. And then on top of that, once the inventory has been reserved and picked, we offer goal-based optimization to enable ship from any location. And maybe the goal is fastest speed, maybe it's one delivery. We have different rules that we can optimize for. But this ability to sort of have visibility across inventory in real time, maybe across multiple systems of yours, as well as across vendors that you're doing drop ships with. And then post-purchase, you have the ability with every step in the progress of that product. You get events. We get events from the carrier, and instead of just sending your customer to a carrier website, you are sending the mails with your brand, your message, your additional information, and the up-to-date status. So we have this whole mechanism of events and actions and connectors to people like FedEx. I'll talk about that in a minute. What FedEx is adding here is the ability to provide a predictive delivery window. So if something's going to be late, you know about it in advance. So that really improves the communications with customers. I mentioned the other side, and I won't talk a lot about this here, but increasingly in many areas, returns are an enormous problem. Reverse logistics have always been a challenge. And we're really trying with our new intelligent order management to treat returns as a first-class experience. And so that same communication about has your return been received, the signal maybe that the carrier has it is enough to generate the credit. And what we're really working on now is can we optimize returns rather than returns just going back to one place? Is there a way to understand that the likelihood is the product that's coming back can be resold, so maybe it should go someplace else. And so this is it's a service that we have now. We've introduced, we're in preview with the integration with FedEx. but really enabling customers to really get great control of what's happening on the outbound side. And when we apply the same model to the inbound side, we'll get that full supply chain control tower. I think without draining this architecture diagram, the key thing to realize is it's built for that more complex supply chain that we're seeing. It's not all just one dynamic system and one warehouse and one factory, but it might be integrating and sending fulfillment directives to a different WMS, to a different third-party logistics provider. We might be coordinating across multiple logistics providers, and orders can be coming on the inbound side from all places. And so we're really built for the model of what our customers are seeing today. And all of this is really can be configured and set up in a low-code kind of way. So when you decide you need to add another third-party logistics provider or a new delivery provider, it's not a question of writing code, but really of doing configuration. And we think that's the power and the agility that people need today. So the one last piece that I'll talk about just for 2 seconds is this piece of Power Platform. And this is the thing that whatever part of the business, whether it's supply chain or otherwise, where you have a truly unique process that you need to do something better with, Power Platform is an amazing way to go do that. And so this is a case study from Western States Caterpillar. They had a process around inspecting rental equipment when it came back that was all on paper and really awkward process. And kind of when it was completed, you put the paper in a drawer and it's lost. And they were able, with 2 BI guys, no code, working with the team that actually does the inspections, to use Power Apps to build this Return to Ready app. They have a great mobile app now that runs on iOS and Android. They can use the camera. They can take advantage of GPS to know location. And now when they capture the data of that inspection, it's actually in the cloud, linked to Dynamics. And so now you have the history of this piece of equipment. You have the history of all the rentals with this customer. You have the information about who worked on the inspection. And so now you picked up more data to drive more insights, to drive better decisions. And so any of those places where you kind of see a process that's being done on paper, on magnetic boards and SharePoint lists, think about this, because it really can transform what's going on. We don't have a lot of time this morning, so I'm kind of flying through things. What I would suggest, if you really want to see kind of the latest and greatest that we're doing, take a look at anytime at aka.ms/business apps release notes. We publish every 6 months what's coming in the next 6, and it's a great place to see where the innovation is happening. So with that, I'll turn it back to Chris.
All right. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. And thanks for your time. That was super insightful. We've got a number of customers that are implementing the Supply Chain Insights product right now and really seeing the value with that. The other thing I want to mention is the companies that we're selling to right now, the main reason why they're going with the Microsoft platform or the Microsoft solution is because of the platform. And the Power Platform really ties all those components together, from the ERP to the CRM to the business analytics, and most importantly, the ability to kind of automate and streamline business processes through Power Automate. So a lot of exciting stuff going on.
So one question we have for Cam from the audience is, it looks like it's a life science. So we seem to struggle with data migration. What pieces of advice do you have around best practice?
So we did do a tremendous amount of data migration. We pulled in from multiple systems, so it was a big effort. I would say what we really did was first of all, we leveraged Armanino highly in this, right? We focused on what we were going to, so it wasn't taking everything and trying to, let's make it fit. There's this column and data in this system and this and this. We really focused, what's the core process in Dynamics? What do we need to support that? So we focused on that with our data loads. We certainly reviewed everything and make sure everything landed in the right place. But by keeping that very regimented focus and frankly leveraging the depth within the Armanino team to make sure we knew when it was mapped in the right place, it went quite smoothly. Although a lot of work. I don't know if there's anybody on the call that was participating. It was a lot of work, but in the end, it went smoothly and really well. And like I said, remember there's 3 ERPs. So every one of the ERPs is surprisingly different. So they came together really nicely.
Yeah, definitely data migration is a single point of failure for any implementation. It's strategically important, and appreciate your insight on that one. Ashley, anything else?
Looks like we have one more question for Mike here. What is Microsoft's next big bet as being part of technology revolutions that we are seeing today? What should we be thinking about for the next 5 years?
Yeah, so I think, we pointed to those in the session that I did, is really about the ability to leverage data through AI to generate insights and to turn applications really into collaborative tools that let people work the way they naturally work. I think it's kind of endless what we're able to do by taking advantage of the cloud, taking advantage of the data platform, and the AI assets that Microsoft has. So I really feel like a ton of what we're going to see is going to come there. Since people talked about the software updates, I'll take a moment to plug for the fact that process is going to get easier and easier. And so I think that's going to continue to grow productivity. I would, in certain places, we're doing some very interesting stuff with mixed reality. So our HoloLens products and things like remote assist for customers for field service. But I really think that data, AI, and collaboration is the heart of things. I see a question. Well, I think the one last thing is, I think if people really discover what they can do with Power Platform and Power Automate, and really take the things that are making work difficult for people and make them easier and simpler, that's an amazing set of tools that are here today that I think as you look over the next few years, we're going to just see it proliferated everywhere. We're already seeing, just amazing growth with that, and I just think it's going to keep up.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Hey,
Mike.
Go
ahead, Chris.
Yeah. So there's a question from Steve in the chat window. When you have the chance, why don't you take a quick look at that?
Yeah. So talking about buying non-inventory items. It's interesting. We're working with a couple of partners that look to be building a marketplace of kind of those where a lot of those non-inventory items would be available with a super seamless integration with Dynamics for the purchasing experience, the invoice, and the workflow experience. So I think there's some interesting things showing up, mostly where partners are creating the marketplace, and we're going to sort of create the connection, to make it easy within Dynamics. Happy to connect offline if we can help with this specific, sort of punch-out conversation you're talking about.
Yeah, and we're happy to follow up as well. It's a good conversation to have. There's a lot of capabilities, and even going back to the Power Platform, where we've been able to identify specific use cases where that's been able to streamline some of those processes. But happy to have the conversation. All right. Any other questions? All right. Hey, Mike and Kim, I really want to appreciate you for your time today, and appreciate the insight and the partnership, and and I want everyone, and also thank you to the audience for participating today. We'll make the recording available. Hope everybody has a great day and a great weekend. Thank you so much.
And next time we'll be in person. So.
Yes, absolutely. Next time we'll definitely be in person. All right.
Fantastic.
All right,
guys. Take care. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
See you.